Right in the heart of the desert of the state of South Australia lies Olympic Dam, the third largest uranium mine in the world. The mine has the world's largest deposits of uranium, which are exported all over the globe from here, to France, Sweden, the US, Japan and China. For the moment, uranium is extracted from underneath the ground, but that's due to change soon. The mine's owners, BHP Billiton, want to convert the operation into an open-cast mine, 3 kilometres long and 350 metres deep. The company is investing $5 billion in the project, despite the global economic downturn.
Well, Olympic Dam is a very large resource, so we have to look at it in the very long term. We're looking at a mine life of possibly 70+ years, so it will survive many cycles like those we're going through at the moment.
Together with uranium, about 170,000 tonnes of copper, gold and silver are mined and processed every year in Olympic Dam. Production is set to triple when the open-cast operation begins. Uranium mining is potentially a major source of income for Australia. It has the potential to make the country a global player in terms of energy.
It puts South Australia in a very powerful position, given that it's now estimated that we have about 50% of the world's known uranium in my state alone, here in South Australia. So in energy terms, that makes us the oil equivalent of, Kuwait.
South Australia's state government is banking on rising income from uranium mining royalties, as well as the economic benefit of increased employment. At the moment, about 3,500 people work in Olympic Dam. Deb Ainsley is one of them. She guides visitors around the mine, and she's very proud of her workplace.
This is the only place in the world where we've got everything in one place.
Along with most of the other employees, Deb Ainsley lives in Roxby Downs, a town that was purpose-built for miners and their families. Roxby has the highest per capita income of anywhere in South Australia, and the highest birth rate as well. About 4,500 people live in Roxby. All of them are connected, one way or another, to the mine. Pete Paisley came here 20 years ago.
I came up here with no qualifications and learned everything on the job.
He spent 8 years working 12-hour shifts underground. Today, he's a middle manager at the mine. He met an environmental student in Roxby called Bree Galbraith. She had planned to spend just a short time here studying animals in the desert. But today, the couple have 2 children and live in Roxby permanently.
Oh, that's a big Tasmania.
It's a lovely place for children because you don't have all the traffic of a big city, and that the community is isolated and smallish. Everyone sort of gets to know each other.
But aren't the couple worried about living so close to a mine that produces radioactive material?
No, not at all. I used to work for a period of time out at the mine in the Environment Department, so I understand the background of how it's processed and all that sort of stuff and mined, and I don't believe there's an issue for the community.
With the credit crisis making an impact elsewhere, the couple are happy they're in Roxby.
Luckily we've got the uranium here. We might not have a job.
But not everyone in Australia shares that view. The uranium mined in Olympic Dam is for export. There are no nuclear power stations in Australia because, according to the environmental activist David Noonan, the majority of Australians don't want them.
The Australian community would not accept the risks that come with nuclear power. We've had those debates, and our state parliaments have made nuclear power illegal against the law up and down the east coast of Australia. And the parliament in South Australia, for instance, Premier Rann's own parliament, has made international nuclear waste dumping illegal.
The mining and export of uranium is also controversial.
Well, the Australian Conservation Foundation believes that BHP Billiton's mine expansion, essentially a uranium quarry, will drive nuclear risks around the world. It will ever increase the unresolved nuclear waste management issues. It will lead to the increase of a vast amount of plutonium. It's a weapons of mass destruction concern for Australian citizens, for our responsibility.
South Australia's state government argues that Australian uranium is exported according to strict international standards and only to countries that have signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. State Premier Mike Rann also says that Australia is contributing to the reduction of harmful greenhouse gases.
China knows that it has to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, particularly those caused massively by coal. Whilst it has to pursue renewable energy, as we in South Australia are doing, it also has to invest much more heavily in nuclear power for people's electricity supplies. And so they're building a template nuclear reactor that they intend to mass produce.
Olympic Dam is protected by special legislation that allows it to bypass certain aspects of South Australia's environmental protection rules. When expansion is complete, environmentalists say the mine will use enormous quantities of water, at least 200 million litres a day. They also say millions of tonnes of radioactive waste and effluent will have to be stored at the mine. For its part, BHP says the company is complying with all environmental regulations.